Hey guys, welcome back to Creative Adventures with Made by Lisa Marie. I'm Lisa, and today we're going to be doing a quick tutorial on this new style of painting that I've come up with recently on my iPad, and I want to teach you guys how to translate it onto a canvas. So we're going to be using those Pro Tone panels that I've been using now for the past couple weeks, and using again also the Charvin acrylic paints. And I'll show you kind of a quick step-by-step tutorial on how to make this minimalistic mountain design right on your canvas and really focus on the color schemes as well as just the textures and that minimalistic vibe. So this is the sketch that I did in Adobe software. So it's just this fairly simple three-colored design that utilizes balance and color schemes and all of those other design elements we talked about in our last class. But the thing about this as well that I like about the Adobe products is that brush that I used is actually an acrylic brush. So I thought, how awesome would that be to actually use acrylic paint and make this on a real canvas. So now we're gonna go into the first thing, which is picking out our colors. There's this kind of navy rustic blue with almost like a salmon red. So all the colors are really soft, and like this cool gray that's slightly lighter. And so none of these colors are gonna be straight out of a tube. I'll have to mix all these colors. So I'll kind of walk you through how to make each one of those colors, and then we're also going to sketch quickly just a rough outline of how this is going to fit on our canvas, and then we'll go from there. The first color that I'm looking at is that salmony red color. So I'm going to take the Oriental red that comes in the basic set of the Charvin acrylic paints, and there's going to be a dab of white in there as well. And it is like a really warm red, so I might even do a touch of yellow, but not too much that it turns orange, but just a touch. And if that's too much, then I will probably put in some of this phthalo. So those are the colors for the red. And then for that gray, I'll be using, again, white and black, which make gray together, but it's a cool gray. So then I'll actually do a touch of this Alexander blue in order to make that gray. And then for the blue color, that is almost going to be slightly trickier. I think I'll mix both blues that I have, but it also looks like there's some green in it. So I have this closest to teal color I have is this phthalo Viridian green. So I'll be mixing these three paints together. Again, the first thing I want to do before putting any paint on this canvas is grab a pencil and sketch it out. Okay, so to sketch it, again, I'm even going to just use my drawing as a reference. We'll start off with kind of trying to find where the center is. So if I'm eyeballing where the center is down there, and that's about the halfway mark, it's going to be somewhere around there is the center of the canvas. And then I want to draw a circle because this has almost like a circular shape to it. Everything I do is very organic and usually has lines that aren't perfect or symmetrical because that's just something I like. So again, this I'm not using a protractor or anything to make it perfect on purpose because I like having that human touch. So if you're someone that likes everything exactly straight, go ahead and you can get a ruler and measure it out. But if you are fine with just playing with it and trusting your instincts, go ahead and draw a circle in the middle. Now that's going to be probably like 4 inches wide, and I'm trying to think if I want it any bigger. I don't think I do. I think I like it smaller on the page, but again, if you're someone that wants to fill up your canvas a little bit more, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. This is up to you. This is just kind of my style. So now that we've drawn our kind of borders, I'll go in, put this down. and start to draw the mountain, which is kind of over, the peaks start off to the left a little bit. And they're not even gonna necessarily come up to the top of my circle, but a little bit below it. We'll just start to kind of like carve out the mountain, so to speak. And again, this does not have to be perfect at all. Mountains take so many different shapes and forms, and this isn't even a real mountain. I kind of made that up, so if you're trying to copy this exactly and are getting frustrated, don't worry, you can make yours up. But if you do like kind of trying to copy, that's fine too. It's a good way to learn, and then you can make your own as you get more comfortable. So again, we're just kind of carving out the shape to it. We'll make this little mountain slash hill come out in front. A theme, if you guys have been watching my other videos, a theme that you'll see is I love working in layers. All of my work, whether it's even my graphic design work or painting or drawing or anything, I usually have like just a ton of different layers I work in. So even when I draw mountains, I like them to be layered on top of each other. There's something about it makes it feel a little bit more dynamic, I think. So now I'm painting drawing the tree line where that's gonna start. And there's this perspective. The road is gonna be just right in the middle here, but it kind of curves as you're looking down it. So let's bring that out. And again, just treat this like a sketchbook. This is not supposed to be perfect right here. These are just really guidelines for you to then erase and then go over with your paints. So feel free to make mistakes, to play, to try out different things, and just have fun with it right now. So I'll add in a couple of trees, and my trees are just really simple. So everything here is very, very minimalistic, which was on purpose. So even these trees look a little bit cartoony, and I just thought it was just kind of like a fun vibe to give it. So now that we've erased some of our boundary lines, we're going to go in and start working on mixing the colors. So I'll put away my Apple pencil and grab some paint brushes. And let's see. And I'm trying to mix colors and really get them right. I like to use this palette knife. There's tons of different shapes and sizes of palette knives, but they're just really nice for controlling paint. So I'm going to use the palette knife to mix the colors, and we're going to start with the red. So as I was saying earlier, the Oriental red is definitely going to be the base of the red in our design. But we're going to have to mix at least for sure some white into it, and maybe either a little bit of yellow or like a burnt sienna, and warm it up a little bit. Kind of mixing up this color. It's actually pretty similar to what I have on the design. It does look a little bit pink, and I don't want pink, I want it to be more of a salmon. So I'm gonna do a touch of this burnt sienna or phthalo, and that'll help just make things a little bit warmer and more earth tone. Again, mixing paints in and of itself is an art. So if you don't get the color right away that you want, just keep trying and playing with it. It's a really good skill to learn. sometimes it takes a while to kind of figure things out, but then once you get a grasp on just how colors change and mix, it's really rewarding, and it feels like just another tool that you can play with instead of just using the tubes right out, or using the paint right out of the tubes. You can really make any color that you'd ever need. So I'm going to be using a small brush, so this is a size 4 and a 2. We'll start with the 4 for now, and we're going to go ahead and make just make those red lines where the road is going to be. So actually, before I make those lines, I am going to erase it a little bit, so that again there's just as little pencil residue as possible. So we want this to be all really clean. You can even use a brush to kind of sweep away the eraser marks. Okay. I'll start to make those lines. So again, it kind of just comes down and out real wide because of the perspective. We're looking down a long country road right here. So the next step, I'm going to do the sun because that's the other red element in here. So again, I'll go in and erase the top of that. Make sure all the eraser residue is out of my way. And I'm going to try the smaller brush this time. And load up my brush with some paint and make a little half circle, which is going to be our sun. Alright, so one of my favorite times to even just be outside and be in nature is either at sunset or sunrise, because that's usually when all of the colors are just so bright and there's so much going on. So that's, you'll see almost all of my designs in this little series has either a sun that's about to set or about to rise, or a moon with a ton of stars. So that's looking pretty good. I'd say let's go in and start making the mountain color. So we can start making our blue color. We'll wipe off our palette knife. Make sure that's pulled up. Okay. So with our blue, again, I'll pull out, they're both of our blue colors. So there's the ultramarine blue and Alexander blue. And it looks like the color palette I use has more of like a warmer earth tone color again, which is kind of matching the red almost. So I'm going to try mixing the phthalo viridian green here. Just having a touch of it just to warm it up, kind of like what we did for the red there. Even just a little bit goes a long way. And I love these canvases because a lot of them are already earth tone colors. And that just so naturally reflects what I like to paint, which is nature oftentimes. And so even my color schemes reflect the environment, and everything is, yeah, everything is supposed to just really complement one another and help tell the story of going on an adventure or being out in the mountains, or that feeling that you get when you're off the grid. So I'm mixing this green, and it's looking pretty good. My only hesitation is that it looks a little bit too light and a little too saturated, so I'm gonna pop some black in here, just a touch, and I think that should hopefully help it get muted down a little bit with the saturation, and also darken it up. And it's getting closer, but now it feels almost like it has too much black in it. So I'm going to go in and put more ultramarine blue in here. See how that starts to show up. Okay, that's looking pretty good actually. It feels like the right combo. Oops. So again, we'll kind of do the same process. Now that I have my blue mixed, I'm going to erase our mountain lines. And I still can see through the sketch a little bit. So even when I erase it, I haven't fully lost my sketch. But it's nice to not have to worry about trying to erase it afterwards, because then that just gets really messy. So I try to erase before I paint. Another wonderful thing about acrylic paints is that they dry pretty quickly. Okay, so again we'll start at, so I'll make sure that the sunset has the right angles. We'll start right here, right under the sun. Kind of making sure that I'm leaving even a little bit of space so that none of the lines actually will intersect, but they just come close, and the space, the width of the space should be kind of equal to the width of the lines, if that makes sense, in the painting, so that everything just looks very clean and on purpose, so to speak. So again, I'm even kind of changing this shape right now a little bit. You guys can feel free to make whatever shape of the mountain you want. So I'm really trying to be careful about making all the lines consistent. And that's kind of the trickiest part of this, is making everything consistent so that it feels really clean. And again, I'm just kind of going in and making these lines of like where I think the hill might be. Okay. Thickening it up in some places too. Oops. So I'm just going to kind of touch up these edges a little bit. Now I think it's time to go into the final tree section of this painting. And so again, we're going to do the same process. We'll wipe clean our palette knife. start to make the gray color, which is kind of like a medium cool gray. So it's not too light, not too dark, and it's a little bit on the cool side. It's not a warm gray. So it'll have, what that means is it'll have like an underlying blue or purple type of hue in it. So I'm going to take my black and a little bit of white, and mix that together. So it's looking a little bit dark, so I'm going to add a little bit more of this white color. And then I'm going to do a touch of this Alexander blue to make it a little bit cooler. So now again, hopefully you guys have kind of the flow of things by now. I'm going to go in and erase the trees. Now the red part should be pretty dry. The blue might still be a little bit wet, so be careful. But the road should be dry, which is nice. And we can, once we're done with this, we can erase more diligently, and it's not on the easel. Okay, so grab my paintbrush again, and we're just gonna kind of make some more guidelines for where these trees are gonna go. So we come to the middle of the road and kind of swerve out here a little bit, all the way to the end of this imaginary circle. So actually I kind of extended my my circle over on the right side, so if I did an imaginary line, this would probably come off a little bit more, and I'll have to extend my road soon too, but besides that, it's still taking the right shape. Now we'll go in and start to pick the trees. So I'm going to start by making just these vertical lines that are kind of equal distance apart from each other. Really focus on them being as much as possible the same width. I think this is looking pretty cool. So I'm switching to a little bit of a smaller brush just because it will help give me more control with these tree branches. And so we just kind of make these little half circle shape. They're very whimsical trees. And as the trees get shorter, they also get less branches. So the ones on the very end are going to have the most, and as we go down, we're going to have less and less. So yeah, it's a lot of fun kind of switching back and forth between painting in an illustrative style and a more realistic traditional style. And we're almost just about at that point where it's looking pretty close to being done. Like I said, I want to just touch up some of the lines, but besides that, it's going to be pretty close to where we want it. So I think now I just want to make sure it is taking that circular shape. So I think my road needs to be coming down a little bit more. And I might go in and do a couple more layers real quick, just to give the added texture, especially on the mountain. But besides that, I think we're in a pretty good spot here. And again, this is just totally my style, but I'm gonna be laying on on the paint pretty thick at this point because I love having the texture pop off of the canvas. That's something that you just can't get when you're working digitally. So I'm taking advantage of the fact that this is a physical canvas, and I'm gonna put some playful textures in it as well. Okay, so again, I could keep playing with this, keep even cleaning things up and fixing different parts, but I feel pretty happy with that end product. Awesome. So this is what the end product is going to look like. So it's pretty basic, but I thought this would be a fun way for you guys to just try out mixing different colors, as well as, again, get more familiar with these pro canvas panels, which are great, and even consider about using them as part of your color scheme, and that you don't have to actually even paint the entire canvas, but you can paint portions of it and use it as part of your background. So I hope this is helpful. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can comment on this video or find me on Instagram at Made by Lisa Marie, or email me at madebylisamarie@gmail.com. Thanks so much. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time.